Hi, my name is Josie Sockwell, and my presentation is on incarceration versus rehabilitation. Year end, there's around 1,230,000 people incarcerated yearly in state prisons, local jails, federal prisons, and jails, and around 361,000 of them are incarcerated for drug offenses. That's around 30% of the incarcerated population being due to drugs. I've always been very interested in the topic of incarceration, of drug addicts and those who are interested in drugs, due that I feel that they're deeply misunderstood by our justice system, and a little empathy could be used for them as they're humans who've done something to themselves, and it'll only bring them further down. As related to my audience, I know the stigma of drug addicts being dangerous and that they deserve the punishment of incarceration as a response to their addiction is prevalent in society today. And I believe that everyone should care for the fact that it can improve the overcrowded justice system, prison population, and it can improve the money related to the justice system as prisons are very expensive to keep up, and it could help those who desperately need an intervention. The purpose of my speech is to persuade you all that decriminalization of drugs and having drug addicts go through rehabilitation is a better alternative rather than imprisoning those who use them. My main points for the speech would be it's a better alternative to have them go to rehabilitation centers. It's a better alternative to incarcerating them. The cost of incarceration is a big, significant financial burden, and money can be better allocated towards rehabilitation and can take the strain off the criminal justice system and taxpayers. And then my last point will be how society views drug addicts and how those improvements can change that. So with my first topic, rehabilitation programs, rehabilitation programs offer a significantly more effective and humane way for instead of incarceration towards individuals struggling with drug addictions, and here's why. According to Soliner in his journal titled Changes in Substance Abuse Treatment Use Amongst Individuals with Opioid Use Disorders in the United States, he said that incarceration fails to address underlying issues that contribute to drug addiction, such as trauma, mental illness, and socioeconomic disadvantage. And rehabilitation programs focus on treating the root causes of addiction by treating addiction as a public health issue. Rehabilitation programs prioritize public safety and also helps addicts recover and reduce relapses and future criminal behavior. It fails to address underlying issues, so people are incarcerated for their having possession of the drugs or using them, but we don't think about why they're using them, so whenever they go to jail or they are imprisonated, they're just going to go back and do the same thing. So I believe that going to rehabilitation programs would help stop the problem and continue to help better them. And incarceration tears families apart and destabilizes communities. And rehabilitation programs can help focus on reuniting families, providing them with the support they need to rebuild their lives, and focus on promoting healing and reconciliation. Overall, it promotes a more compassionate and effective approach. And with the people who have been incarcerated due to drugs, 89% of them don't get treatment, and only 11% do get treatment for it. So it is proved that it's not the best option for people who are drug addicts. So with overall, rehabilitation programs offer a more compassionate and effective approach to addressing drug addictions, but by treating addiction as a public health issue and providing individuals with support they need to overcome their addiction, we can reduce recidivism, which is if they go back and do the drugs again, promote public safety, and build a stronger, healthier community. So with that, this is how we fix the problem. Incarcerating individuals for drug offenses is not only ineffective, but it's also an incredibly costly burden on the criminal justice system and taxpayers. Here's why allocating funds from incarceration to rehabilitation makes financial sense. According to Wildman in his journal, he stated that the cost of housing an inmate is exorbitant. Taxpayers foot the bill for food, housing, healthcare, and security, with the average cost per inmate ranging from $20,000 to $40,000 per year, depending on the state. With thousands of nonviolent drug offenders behind bars, these costs quickly add up, placing a significant financial strain on both criminal justice system and taxpayers. By investing in rehabilitation programs, we can reduce the number of individuals incarcerated for drug offenses, thereby reducing the financial burden. By providing addicts with the support they need to overcome their addiction and reintegrate into society, we can reduce recidivism rates and alleviate the strain on prisons. Rehabilitation programs are more cost effective, as the cost of providing treatment and support services is far lower than housing them in prison. And by reallocating funds from incarceration to rehabilitation, we can have a more effective use of our taxpayer dollars and improve outcomes for individuals and communities. In addition to reallocating funds from incarceration to rehabilitation, we can also consider reallocating funds from police budgets to support rehabilitation efforts. Police funding in the United States is incredibly high, with billions of dollars spent each year on law enforcement. By allocating a portion of these funds to support rehabilitation centers and other community-based initiatives, we can address the root causes of addiction and reduce the need for incarceration in the first place. Overall, reallocating funds from incarceration to rehabilitation makes financial sense. By investing in rehabilitation programs and reallocating funds from police budgets, we can reduce the financial burden and on the criminal justice system and taxpayers, while also providing outcomes for individuals struggling with addiction in their communities. It's a win-win solution that promotes public safety, saves money, and provides individuals with the support they need to rebuild their lives. Since this is how you can fix a problem, what does the future look like for society if this succeeds? If we continue to incarcerate drug addicts rather than providing them with rehabilitation and support, the cycle of addiction and incarceration will persist. Families will be torn apart, communities will suffer, and taxpayer dollars will be wasted as a punitive approach, and it fails to address the root causes of addiction. However, if we shift our approach to drug addiction and prioritize rehabilitation over incarceration, the future could look very different. Society's perception of drug addiction and drug addicts would shift. Instead of viewing them as a moral failing or criminal behavior, people would recognize it as a treatable health condition. Drug addicts would no longer be stigmatized and marginalized, and would instead be seen as individuals in need of support and compassion. According to Jacques in her journal on rehabilitation, she states, by providing addicts with the treatment and support that they need to overcome their addiction, we would reduce the likelihood of relapse and future criminal behavior. This would lead to safer communities, and individuals struggling with addiction would receive the help they need to lead productive lives. Families would no longer be torn apart by incarceration, but instead they would be supported and reunited through rehabilitation programs. Communities would be strengthened as individuals struggling with addiction are given the opportunity to rebuild their lives and contribute positively to society. In summary, by shifting from incarceration to rehabilitation, we have the opportunity to create a future where drug addicts are treated with compassion and understanding rather than punishment and stigma. This is a future where individuals struggling with addiction are given the support they need to rebuild their lives. Families are kept together and communities thrive. It's a future worth fighting for. So with that, by shifting from incarceration to rehabilitation, we can create a future where drug addictions are treated as a health issue rather than a criminal one. This change will lead a shift in society's perception of drug addicts from criminals to individuals in need of support and compassion. By providing drug addicts with the treatment and support they need to overcome their addiction, we can reduce recidivism, strengthen families and their communities, and save taxpayer dollars. And so it's time to invest in rehabilitation over incarceration to create a future where everyone has the opportunity to rebuild their lives and contribute positively to society. This is the final takeaway. It's time to change our approach to drug addiction. By supporting the decriminalization of drugs and investing in rehabilitation programs, we can create a future where addiction is treated with compassion, not punishment. This shift will save taxpayer dollars. So join us in advocating for a humane and effective approach to drug policy, one that prioritizes rehabilitation over incarceration and gives every individual the opportunity to rebuild their lives and contribute positively to their communities. Together, people can make a difference. And these are my references. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, how do I stop it? Meow.